Hey y'all, it's Diane with Shawcraft One at my old barn door, and I am back today working in our trifold hardcover journal with our Reader's Digest. Thank y'all so much for being patient with me while I've been sick. It has definitely been a week of it. Normally I can just bounce right through a cold, and keep going. But this week I did wind up in the bed one day for all day long. So my voice is coming back, thank goodness. I know I probably still sound pretty nasally, so I apologize for that. But we're going to ignore it, and we're just going to have fun. So in our trifold journal, I love the way this layers on the top. I think it's so stinking cute. So we need to work on this flap here, and we need to work on something for this as well. So we'll get as far as we can today, and get as much done as we can, and we'll just keep going until we get it done. So on this one, I had noticed on Dawn's video, she's the Book Vandal shop, and her link is in the description box below. She's the first one, well, Tracy Watkins from my share booth was the first one I saw who did it, and she sent me to Dawn's videos. And Dawn has a series on how to make these, and so I've watched those, of course, while I've been sick, and fell in love with it, so we're going to do one. So I noticed on her video, she had on one of her covers a page where she did a little slot for a notebook. So I'd like to do that. I thought that was super cute, and it's an interchangeable spot. So, if you want to change your notebook every Christmas, you can. So we're going to make one of those for this cover. So I have already cut a piece that I want to use here. Okay, and so we're just going to go ahead and cut the slot in and put the notebook together. So for now, I'm going to scoot the journal off to the side, and I'm going to grab, I have this little thing here that has been sitting on my desk forever. I bought it and never used it. Imagine that. So I'm just going to kind of use this for measurements and for cutting purposes. So what you do to do the slots is I'm going to take a pencil, and my page is about 6 inches wide, so I'm going to come in an inch on this side and an inch on this side, I think, and then we're going to come about 1.5 inches down. Now I am just eyeballing, I'm not doing true measurements, so we're flying by the seat of our pants. So I'm going to make a little dot there, and then I'm going to kind of, I do want to use my ruler to make sure I get it straight, though. We do need a straight one. So, going to line that up about right there. And then we're going to come in about right there. Okay. And then I'm just going to draw a line straight across from dot to dot. So that's what is going to be our little slot for our notebook. Or our notepad, not really a notebook, but like a little notepad to slide into. So basically the way you do this is you take your hole punch. Let me see if mine's going to reach. If not, I may have to get my big crocodile. I don't think it's going to reach either way. So let me grab it. Okay, we got the big boy. So I'm just going to take it, and where I put my little dots, I'm just going to punch a hole in each one of those each one of those spots where I have the dots. Say that 5 times fast with the spots and dots. Okay. Okay, so now you see we have our little holes punched. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this sideways, and I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to take on my ruler, I have a squared off side and a kind of a rounded off side. I'm going to take the squared off side for this. And if you see, let me see if I'm going to just zoom you in for a second. Okay, I know I have you real close, but I just wanted you to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm putting my ruler right kind of at the bottom edge and lining it up on both dots at the bottom edge. And then I'm going to make a cut. So I'm just going to take my little box knife here. You can use whatever works for you, but I'm just going to take my box knife here. Let me zoom you out just a hair. Not trying to make you dizzy. And I'm going to cut right along my ruler all the way to the bottom of the other dot. Just like that. Okay. And then that's going to kind of give us a little slot. So then I'm going to turn it around this way just because this works better for me, and you can do it whatever way works better for you. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to put that flat edge up against the other side, or the other top of the dots. In other words, we did the one cut down here at the very edge of this dot, and then we're going to come up here and do another one at the very edge of this dot. Hopefully I'm making that clear. Okay, and then we're just going to cut from dot to dot. Okay. Now, what we have is this, and we can just pop this little piece out. And if you miss some like I did, because this is not sharp enough, I need a new blade. But if you have a good sharp blade, you shouldn't have this problem. But I'm just going to take my little snippy scissors here and just snip that off. Okay. So then we have something that looks like this. Okay. So I'm going to put my little mat up here. We're going to bring our book over. So now, this is where our notebook will slide in. So when we attach this, let me scoot you up some, not trying to make you dizzy. Okay, much better. So when we attach this, we're only going to glue around the edges so that our notebook will have time to hang out, or we'll have room to hang in there. So let's make the notebook first, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I have taken some of the lined pages from the kit, and I've just torn them in little strips to make a little notebook. You can cut them if you want to. I just like the torn look because I kind of like the little shabby, tattered look of the edges. Okay, so now I'm going to take my page here that we cut out, and I'm going to kind of do a measurement, excuse me, to see how far down our notebook needs to go. So like this one, I'm gonna cut it a little differently because I don't want to cut Santa's face off. But the rest of these I can probably just, I may just go from the top and measure down. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do, is just go from the top and measure down. So let's just stack these up like this. Oh, come on. Okay. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, I'm going to line it up right here at the notch, and then I'm going to just come down here, and I'm going to just start tearing. Now again, you can mark it and measure it and all that if you want to, and hey, everybody has their own way of doing it, so it's not a big deal. Okay, I'm still going to take this one off because I'm going to have to do that one a little differently than I do the rest of them. And I'm going to make sure they're all even on this end. They're still not even. What is the deal? Just get them a little bit loose so they'll fall to the edge like I want them to. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'd like it to be decent. Okay, now I'm just going to take my ruler and lay it right here, and I'm just going to come in, you know, just a little bit from the bottom. It's really a matter of preference, so wherever you want yours to come in, and I'm just going to start tearing these. Okay, fairly simple. Now, these will be some cute little pieces, little scrap pieces to use. So we're going to put those to the side. Now, I am going to take my Santa, and I am going to, here's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to just take one of these and measure, because I want to get all of his hat in there. That's what my issue is. Okay, so I'm just going to tear this one at the top of his jingle bell on his hat. And then I'm going to take it and come down here. So at that second line is where I need to tear it. So just tear that right there. And I'm not saving that tiny little piece. Okay, so now we have our notebook. And these were the line pages that I had printed on both sides. So you might get coffee dyed paper or more lined paper on the back. I think maybe they're mostly coffee dyed. Well, some of them have. See, like this one, it's got the lines on the back. So anyway, you'll be able to use the front and the back of it. Okay, so now I'm going to take it and I'm just going to stack them and make sure they're all down here at the bottom together. We're going to scoop this up. And then I have just a little piece of chipboard. You can get them off the back of notebooks, or, you know, like the little 3-ring binders. Like, for example, you could use a piece off of, you know, off of this. You know, just anything that's got a little bit of meat to it or a little bit of thickness to it. And then I'm going to take it, and I do this sideways. You can do it however you want to. And I'm just going to line it up to make sure that I've got it as far down as I want it to go. Now, this one, I want it to be a little bit shorter than the actual notebook pages. Because basically all this is for is to give it some stability when you're sliding it in and out of your little slot. So I think I'm going to take it up to about right here. And I don't know if I can tear chipboard or not. I've never tried. Hey, it tears. Okay, and we're just going to keep it like that. So then I'm going to take my notebook here. Now you want to cut this piece the width of, you know, whatever your little notepad is. Mine's a little bit wide. We're going to cut a little bit off of the edge of that. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because again, this is just for stability for your little notepad. So it doesn't have to be beautiful, or you can make it beautiful if you want to. It is completely and totally up to you. So I'm just going to take this like this. I'm going to line it up at the top, kind of center it, and then you can do several different things. You can glue it all. You can punch holes and put eyelets and hold it together that way. Or brads. You can punch holes and tie ribbon in it. But I think what I want to do is punch holes and tie some jute twine in it. And that way you can actually replace the pages of your notebook when you finish using all of these. So it makes it a little versatile for you. So, and here I went through all this trouble to make sure I still had his jingle bells in there, and we're going to cover them up. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these little scrap pieces. I'm just going to find the one I really like. Don't know that there really is one particular one that I really like. Maybe we'll do the checks. Oh, that's not wide enough. What I'm trying to do is find a decorative piece to put up here at the top. That one's wide enough. Okay. So I'm going to take this piece, and I'm just going to line it up with my notebook and fold it over. So see, you'll have that little decorative piece there at the top. Okay. So I'm going to take my hole punch. I don't know if my hole punch will go all the way through this. We're going to try it and see. And I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not measuring or anything as far as where to put the marks. But it makes it a little bit easy because I have the, you know, this is a checked pattern. So you can kind of line it up pretty good without much effort. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put another hole. That didn't punch very good, did it? Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take a piece of jute. Actually, I might have some red and white Christmas twine. Hang on. Okay, I do have some red and white Christmas twine. Holy cow, can't talk. But it kind of clashes with the red that's in this. So I grabbed my really thin, this is, I think it's just hemp cord. It says it's jewelry cord. Anyway, so it's kind of a thin, I'm looking for a natural organic look because this is a farm journal, you know, so I kind of want to keep with that feel. So I'm just going to cut a piece off of there. And then we're going to put this back together. Should have had my twine ready when I punched my holes, because now I'm going to have a little bit of a hard time getting it through there. So, word to the wise. Make sure that you have your twine ready when you punch your holes so that you don't have to sit it down. And now I'm going to have to kind of weave this through everything. Darn it. Let me do that real quick. Okay. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. So you just weave it through. Now, in order to get it to tie here in the front, I went through this way into the back first. If you want it to tie in the back, then you would go up through this way first. Hopefully I didn't make that confusing. It's been known to happen. And then I'm just going to tie a cute little bow here. Like so. And that way, whoever gets the journal, they will be able to use their notebook or notepad. And then when they've used all the paper in it, they can make them another one next Christmas using the same material. Okay, so basically, how this is going to go is you're going to take the chipboard piece and you're going to tuck it down into that slot and just slide it down. And so see, that's kind of how it will hang on your page. So let's go ahead and get this on the page on here. So you want to be sure. I'm going to take my notepad and I'm just going to kind of measure a little bit of an area right here and mark it just so I know where not to glue at. Okay, so down that way and down that way. And then I'm going to pull this up and find out how far down my chipboard will go. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of room there. And that way, when I start gluing, I'll know I can glue in all of these areas, but not that one. Okay. Now, I think I'm just going to use my Fabri-Tac for this because it's a good sticky glue and I don't want to get out my glue with the paintbrush and all that. I could, but I'm just being lazy. You'll have to excuse me. I'm still a little shaky, so still kind of weak, but it's okay. It doesn't take a lot of oomph to sit here and craft away. And it's good therapy for me, so I always tell my husband it's my therapy. I joke with him and say my craft room is what keeps me from killing you. And he's like, well, by all means, go make something. Only on the days when I get irritated with him, which is not very often. He's a great guy. Okay, so now we're going to take our journal and we're going to make sure that we're right side up. And I'm just going to lay it in here. I also like the Fabri-Tac because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Trying to stay in frame, sorry. So I'm going to give this a couple of minutes to dry before I put my notebook in there because I don't want to take the chance of if any of the glue has smeared or whatever. I don't want to glue the notebook into the little slot there. Okay, so we've got that part done, and once that dries, our little notebook will hang right there like that. Okay, So I'm going to put that to the side for a second, and then we need to figure out what we're going to do here. I had an idea for this. Oh, I know what I wanted to do for this. Let me see. I have my little, the Christmas ornaments that come in the kit. Hang on, I gotta sneeze. Okay, sorry. Have to sneeze and then sanitize and all that good stuff. Okay, so I thought I would take some of these and make little tucks. I kind of want the bigger ones. So I'm just kind of looking through. All right, so I don't want that one. I don't want that one because it's the same thing. So I've got that one. And that one. And that one. Ooh, you know what would be super cute is to make a belly band with them. Wouldn't that be adorable? I think I'm going to do that. And you know what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch them. Oh yeah, I like that idea. Okay. So I'm going to take these over to my sewing machine. I'm not going to try and bring the sewing machine over here because it would just be too much, and I don't have enough energy for that today. So I'm just going to take them over to my sewing machine. But what I am going to do is I'm going to glue a little bit first so that they'll, you know, just kind of stick together where I want them. That way they're in place and I can just run them right through. So let me go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so hopefully you can see. Can you see the stitching? So I just stitched them right together, and literally what I did was I just put a little tiny dab of glue right here and right here of a glue stick just to hold it together while I ran it through the sewing machine. So then we're just going to glue it. Am I fully in frame? Sorry. I'm just going to put a little glue at the top here and a little glue at the bottom here. It's been a minute since I've used my glue, so I'm hoping it's not stopped up. And I like the strings, so I'm going to leave the strings. But I am going to put a little bit of glue right here on that string just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. You know, like I don't want it to untie or anything. This one down here, I was able to backstitch, but I didn't backstitch at the top. And I should have. I probably should have, but it'll be okay because that glue will hold it. Okay, I'm too shaky for that. Okay. I'm just going to line it at the top and at the bottom. And of course, I always get too much glue. Do I have a napkin? Oh, there's too much stuff on my desk. Okay, I got a little bit of a bright idea. I don't know if you can see these, but I have these two strings right here, and I was getting ready to tie them together to make sure, you know, that my strings don't come loose. And I thought, what if I tie a button on there? That would be so stinking cute. So, there's a green one. Just making sure that's the one I want to use. I want it to show up good, and that's kind of a dark green on that black. I wonder if I should use a red or even a light green. Whoops. Let me get a red one and see what that'll look like. Excuse my reach. I got some red ones in here. Yeah, I think the red, but that's kind of pink. I want red. See how much pink that is? Okay. Or that one. Let's use this one. Okay. Get rid of those. Now this is going to be interesting. Me trying to do this with my shaky hands today. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weave this through this thread. I'm going to snip off that edge so that I have a good edge to go through it with. Okay, so if I run that one through there, and then I take this in and run it through the opposite side, that should work okay. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Sorry. It's a little tedious, but it's going to be worth it. I think it'll be cute. There we go. Okay. And I don't know that I want to tie it super tight because I want you to still be able to see the top of that so you know it's an ornament. So I think what I'm going to do, should I let the button dangle? Maybe. Okay, I'm just going to tie it in a knot right here. And then we'll let it dangle a little. Like so. And then it can just be a little dangly button. And then I'm going to snip off some of this excess thread. Okay, I like that. I think that looks okay. I don't know though, I kind of want it to be right there. I'm going to leave it alone because I'm just piddling with it now. I'm nitpicking it. Okay, so we have our belly band here. And then I think we're dry enough here to go ahead and put our notebook in. So the only thing you're going to put in your slot is just your little chipboard piece in the very back. And you're just going to slide it down into your slot just like that. And now you've got your little notebook that you can make your Christmas list on, or notes, or grocery lists, or whatever kind of list you need to make. You can put it on your little notebook. So that is the base finished. And so I think we'll come back in the next video and maybe work on getting the signatures and the folders put in. We'll get as far as we can and see how we go. So thank y'all so much for watching. Thank y'all for being patient with me while I've been sick this week. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for me if you will. And I hope you have a great day. Big hugs.